The Wicker Man 3 Wild Hunt is a highly polished digital collectible card game with crack addict action and gripping storytelling developed by Polish Cox featuring Geralt of Riverwood from Soul Calibur 6. Released in 2015 before they pissed off the internet by publishing a game 57 years before it was finished. You play as a Bitcher, a certified monster hunter who has undergone agonizingly painful augmentations to train his entire life in learning how to excessively telegraph his attacks to murder vicious creatures, who haggles the local peasantry to see how few crowns they value his life to be, and whose only weakness is elevations higher than 5 feet. Guts is a man crippled by depression so grave that he must constantly talk to himself about the state of the weather to fill the empty void that is his social life.
Tripwire. Never known a monster to set a trap. Traps everywhere here. Gotta be careful.
And he possesses mommy issues so severe, he has the innate desire to sleep with every sorceress he strikes up a conversation with.
Sex. That's why we're here, isn't it?
As a Witcher, Jared uses ninjutsu and possesses a high enough metabolism to drown his bloodstream in copious amounts of Mountain Dew game fuel to assist in combat. You, as a player, can specialize Geralt of Nigeria in 3 different ways to further augment his abilities, turning him into a twirling, unstoppable god, a diabetic, veiny monstrosity, or Boruto's dad by the game's end. The story is a glorified fetch quest to save your unwanted adopted daughter from being abducted by the Wild Hunt, whose intimidation factor goes out the window when you discover they're just a bunch of elves with varying degrees of throat cancer.
Any last words?
Ciri, their target, possesses both the power of God and anime, allowing her to instantaneously and infinitely teleport behind people and dismember them, whose power level by the end of the game makes me really wonder why she's running from the Wild Hunt and not the other way around. Along the way, you will be subjected to tackling morally gray and heart-wrenching decisions, sometimes with the future of entire nations on the line from your input. But the most dastardly question of all that spawned all-out warfare in the community is which lying, manipulative, toxic bitch do you want to spend the rest of your prolonged life slaving away for? In this world, it is common knowledge that Geirrod is a Witcher man, but that won't stop every downtrodden bandit or ill-equipped mob from thinking they can take a fully armed superhuman in a fight. There are massive swaths of land to explore, monsters to kill, and activities to occupy your time with in a fascinatingly beautiful open-world experience. But enough about that. To truly understand The Witcher 3, one must understand its narrative. As a story-driven game based on a novel series and 2 near unrecognizable prequels, The Witcher 3 has a lot of lore to ingest, but fear not, for I have read every last in-game character entry and page of Sapkowski's literary genius, so I'm certified to recollect the game's events. Let's begin. Geralt's adventure, like many others, begins in a tavern with him confessing his many atrocious sins of amnesiac infidelity to God, before he proves his ability to dab so he can meet with Sonic the Hedgehog, who introduces the main plot of this game. His daughter has run away from home once more, and he's hired Geralt to find her. Naturally, our first suspect is Dr. Eggman, who is unwilling to part with any information even after Geralt implores extreme interrogation tactics. So we enlist the help of a goat fucker and the ghost of a miscarried fetus to give us some clues. This puts us in contact with a self-proclaimed nymphomaniac, Karen Met, whose neckline is more modest when wearing lingerie than literally anything else. With her guidance, we encounter a young Johnny Depp who introduces us to Valen's group of e-girls to see if they know anything of Ciri's whereabouts. Geralt.
Letho, you're alive?
Watch this.
What the hell was that?
Pretty funny, wasn't it? Unable to comprehend Letho's monumentally stupid decisions, Geralt ventured into the woods for some fresh air, only to encounter a—
Or is my freedom your wish?
The fuck is this?
Geralt!
What?
Give this to the ladies and tell them they're my precious kittens. Witcher!
Winds howling.
Can you get my boyfriend back here to make out with me?
Why would I?
With enough of the wacky, colorful characters of Velen to last him a lifetime, Geralt heads north to Novigrad, a shining beacon of free market capitalism and industrialization for the rest of the world, containing the most poverty-stricken backwater housing affairs while simultaneously possessing a mansion-sized whorehouse and enough amateur thoughts parading the streets to make OnlyFans look safe for work. But looming over the horizon is the tyrannical reign of overweight bald men headed by none other than Jeff Bezos and his witch fuckers, looking to seize the free city and transform it into the largest company town in the world. And in this city of income gaps and capitalistic virtues, Geralt discovers that his lover of yore, his one true romantic partner, his boyfriend Dandelion, is dead. In a fit of depression and despair, Geralt stumbles into a live Vocaloid conference and, unqualified to make sense of just what the fuck he was witnessing, exits the premises, seeking a men's bathhouse to drown his sorrows in the body of Johnny Sins, Ron Jeremy, and J-Mac. Unable to feel aroused by their rather unattractive features, Geralt flies into a fit of rage and turns the bathhouse into a bloodhouse before Geralt.
What the hell are you doing here?
Would you like to have a horse race with me?
I'm not in the mood right now.
Splendid. Let's go.
Let's see what you're made of. Speed, the rush of Let's see what you're made of. The horse. Adore the speed, the rush of Witcher. Let's see what you're made of. Adore the speed.
The fuck was that?
Geralt.
What now, you piece of filth?
The Burger King wishes to have a word with you.
Fine.
I like chess.
Okay.
Do you know why I like chess?
No.
Because I can hear a beating heart inside each of these pieces. I want to rip open each one and squeeze the truth from them. Pawns see their comrades at their side and foes across the battlefield. A king has a different view of the chessboard. Find Philippa Eilhart. Descending into further despair from Dandelion's death, Geralt gets shit-faced drunk and inadvertently ends up starring in The Witcher's Broadway musical before coming to terms with his sexuality by facing his reflection, acknowledging the many sins he has committed by decapitating his own corpse and conquering his fear of traversing portals, proving he is no longer horny by refusing to sleep with a succubus. With his body and soul cleansed, he tracks down Whoreson Jr. to avenge the death of his lover and be at peace. It is at this point that Geralt remembers he's supposed to be looking for Ciri, and with no viable leads in Novigrad, he hops on a boat to consider his next move, passes out, and wakes up to find himself among the company of thickly accented, violent, drunk, uncultured swine that wear enough fur to make PETA have a heart attack. This meant only one thing. He was in Europe, and as a customary rite of passage, they force him to attend a feast where wild bears suddenly attack, only recognizing him as a human being if he survives the onslaught. Geralt does just that, and in no time flat, the Europeans are back to drinking and having a merry good time to celebrate those who died in the scuffle. Guts, stay a while and have a feast with us.
I really should be going, actually.
You see that guy over there? Fist fight him.
I don't have a reason to.
He punched me in the face, now kick his ass. Good job, Geralt. Now, I need your help in slaying an ice giant.
What did he do to you?
Stop asking questions.
No, I really should be.
Garrod, I need you to deep fry this baby.
What? Why?
Just do it.
Fine.
What the hell did you do that for?
You told me to.
I was fucking kidding. Gary.
Jesus Christ, what the hell are you?
Do you want to hear my tragic anime backstory?
No, not really.
Gerudo.
What?
Fight me.
Fine.
Now fuck me.
What?
Gambino, good to see you.
Where the fuck am I?
We need you to hunt down Xeno'jiva.
A what? How long are you gonna make me wait?
Are you feeling confused and overwhelmed yet? Good. We'll come back to that. Turns out, Geralt had been on an LSD trip for some time and had slept with a random whore in a backwater brothel. Once he finally awoke, he found himself back in Novigrad without his trousers, still nowhere near to accomplishing his goal. Gilbert!
Do you people have no semblance of privacy?
You've got to help us assassinate a king.
But this isn't the second game.
Good job, Geralt. You killed Radovid.
I didn't even do anything.
Jim.
That doesn't even start with G.
You need to choose the next ruler of Skellige.
Why do I have to do it?
Because you killed our previous heir. Somehow, in the midst of all this chaos, Geralt actually manages to find Sonic's virtual assistant. To celebrate, me and the boys get shit-faced drunk, have a drag contest, and soon remember the Wild Hunt are literally knocking on our door. And the odds for defeating them are pretty low considering there's just a handful of us.
Summon the bitches!
So, Geralt assembles a crew consisting of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Joe Brandon, Chris Hemsworth, Vermin Roach, and every other mentally deranged moron we've helped in a final, climactic, winner-take-all battle for determining the fate of the universe against the store-brand Lich King and his gang of edgelords. Now, one thing shouldn't be mistaken. The story is a race against time. Ciri is in danger. Ciri could be dead. Ciri's life is in your hands. You must find Ciri before the Wild Hunt does. Or you could spend about a couple dozen hours with the greatest minigame known to man. You know it, I know it. I'm talking about Gwent, baby. Interrupt people's daily business and show no remorse for their financial struggles or social problems as you slowly sap away every last penny of their disposable income, as they nod silently in agreement, unwilling to refuse a threatening witcher's request for a round of cards. Is your wife and daughter missing and it's my task to find them? Round of Gwent first. Did your children just die from a terminal illness? How about a few rounds of cards? You're a Nilfgaardian spy and your life depends on winning the cash prize for this tournament? Don't care, put your cards down. Am I jumping through these hoops to unlock this master alchemist merchant to buy the recipes for the game's best potions and bombs? No, I'm doing it so I can play him in a round of Gwent. Enter a new village and immediately drop any semblance of urgency in your main quest to force the local innkeep to stop whatever it is they're doing so they can get their ass whooped by a grizzled, near-century-old monster slayer in a children's card game. Or visit a high-class whorehouse for the sole purpose of challenging the headmistress to a round of cards. If a merchant neither sells Gwent cards nor plays the game, they are worthless scum that deserve to be burned at the stake, because it's a card game where people are willing to kill each other over. No, I'm not fucking kidding, it's worse than Yu-Gi-Oh's anime. It introduces itself as a deceptively simple dumping of cards, hoping that your hand just so happens to be better than your opponent's. As your deck grows, it progresses into a strategic minigame of bluffs, attempting to bait the many scorch cards you know your opponent has. Finally, the game will reach the depths of two sweaty tryhards constantly dropping spies on each other until someone finally makes a play into getting scorched. The game is completely imbalanced, the NPCs you face are mindless retards, and by the time you've acquired enough cards, it's hard to feel like anyone is going to beat you when half your hand is hero cards. The 5 pieces of Exodia? You don't know true power until you've held 3 Blue Stripes commandos and a commander's horn. But my god, is it still addicting and entertaining. Legend has it there is actually a fully realized AAA open-world RPG that accompanies your purchase of Gwent, which I think is a pretty good deal. So it's time to talk about it. As the game's name implies, you will be hunting in the wild, encountering or perhaps tracking down grotesque and terrifying creatures in high-octane combat, such as politicians, Karens, YouTubers, cocks, e-girls, neckers, my dad, and more. To battle the terrors of this world, G-Man of River City possesses a wide array of melee attacks, light and heavy. Yes, that is all. Truly, the possibilities for combos are endless. Naturally, he has access to a slight hop for quick evasions and a lengthy barrel roll with enough iframes to make a Dark Souls veteran moist. Additionally, there are his 5 ninjutsu signs. Axii, an often overlooked sign that will stun a single enemy for a few seconds. Yurden, a necessary evil for fighting wraiths. Igni, a way to spontaneously combust enemies in front of you and can be an annoyance when you're just trying to loot your surroundings. Ard, a force push that can combo into instant kills. And Ken, a sign that everyone uses but will pretend it's beneath them. The starting kit is rather lackluster, but learning how to attack once and immediately dodge backwards does have a sufficient learning curve. And it's up to you to expand on these innate skills to build your legendary monster slayer into whatever unstoppable twirling machine you deem appropriate. Accomplished with 3 domains: skill points, gear, and alchemy substances. Leveling up Garen's skill trees comes with some stat bonuses and brand new abilities. They start out rather basic with more damage on heavy attacks, but as you invest further, you can unlock some impressively broken skills, such as a horny jail bonk that is unblockable and deals damage in proportion to the amount of time spent charging up, potions activating a second potion for free when you slurp them, and a shield that heals you when struck. And many more. These are divided rather broadly into combat, science, and alchemy-focused builds. You can choose to specialize in one or turn Geralt into a hybridized monstrosity. I'm not here to tell you what's best. Build whatever you prefer. Each skill must be activated by placing it in a skill slot, and to gatekeep the colorblind from playing the game, color matching it with a mutagen will give you a bonus to vitality, attack power, or sign intensity. Like most things in The Witcher 3, they can start out rather lackluster with a measly 10% damage buff, but by the game's end, god damn. And naturally, as a Witcher who is nearly a century old, our heroic protagonist possesses the worst weapons and armor in the entire fucking world. So it's your job to look through caves, dive in rivers, and peruse through monster corpses for better equipment, praying that an armor upgrade doesn't look like he walked out of the Netflix adaptation. Though this is unlikely because with the exception of the Undvik armor, I think most of his armor upgrades found throughout the game look retarded, which is why I recommend you always invest in Witcher gear as soon as possible. Weapons and armor that have better stats and appearances than most pieces you'll find lying around, and can be upgraded to stay relevant throughout your playthrough. Lastly, there are alchemy substances consisting of potions, bombs, oils, and decoctions. Although alchemy-focused builds can take the most advantage of non-stop potions and decoctions, every player should never underestimate the power of oils, and especially bombs. Though the modest damage boost of oils will appear pathetic at first, their highest tier consisting of a 50% damage bonus against certain monster types should easily pique your interest, especially considering they have limitless use. Bombs as well are especially useful for negating annoying monster effects or freezing an entire mob of bandits before subsequently hacking their frozen corpses to death. Overall, our handsome sorceress fucker begins the game as a rather pathetic excuse of a monster hunter, but with investments into a decent build, some equipment to rack up his power, and the right oils and potions giving you a damage boost, and goddamn does he truly have the power of God and anime on his side, provided his master-crafted swords stop degrading after every few encounters, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend keeping repair kits on hand at all times. Now here's one tip from a professional Witcher 3 veteran: loot everything. Yes, I mean everything. I don't fucking care if you've looted 10 drowners already, if you're currently suffocating to death, or in a haunted house. Loot the fuck out of your surroundings. All of the barrels and sacks at Kaer Morhen, a random chest at the bottom of a river, the pantry of aristocrats at a ball. Check the corpses of bandits you slaughtered. Do this and you'll be blessed with alchemy formulae or a sudden piece of rare gear. Perhaps you'll find the highest level diagram of an oil in an underground cave at level 6 before you've even crafted the base version of it. Because why wouldn't some random chest contain a valuable piece of information for a Witcher? Ingredients and food weigh nothing, which makes this game a hoarder's wet dream as you cram Geralt's back pockets full of alcohol, several whole-cooked poultry, and thousands of putrid monster innards. And given the overabundance of ingredients and hallucinogens you'll need to craft the game's highest tier of potions and oils, you never know when your stash will come in handy, or when you'll just so happen to have missed one hyper-specific ingredient that the alchemist doesn't sell. As an open-world game, you are free to explore, but beware of straying too far off the beaten path, as its environment doesn't have a very strict level range. Encountering a level 20 Leshen while fighting a random pack of level 6 wolves in a forest is in the realm of possibilities. The map itself is littered with dozens of activities that are mostly there to kill time and anything in the vicinity. Kill a monster guarding a chest, kill some bandits to free a merchant that doesn't play Gwent, or quick-scope some drowners guarding treasure. I'd be hard-pressed to call these side quests or thoroughly entertaining, as they serve more as distractions while you're exploring and praying you don't see an enemy with a red skull on it. You see this, you run. But they serve their purpose. To explore this vast, dangerous world, you have your best friend, Roach, a godlike, omnipotent mammal capable of surviving explosions, teleporting across continents instantaneously from a whistle, and plowing through surfs like a Sunday driver, only to have a fucking panic attack at the slightest inconvenience. But she is a benevolent creature, and we shall not question her many quirks. We give thanks to Roach. We praise Roach for the life she has given us. All hail Roach. When traversing on foot, Geralt uses a classic stamina sprint system, but with the awkward twist that his stamina regenerates completely in 1 second out of combat. A fascinating design choice that I can only critique as why. Additionally, the game's platforming is something I believe could hold a candle to the likes of Skyrim, with Geralt's ability to take a fall being infamously pathetic. You will also accept contracts on localized threats to whisk away the life savings of the nearby populace and find a shiny new silver sword embedded in its carcass. Haggle your contractor for a higher pay, and then it's off to the scene of the crime, where Geralt incessantly mumbles to himself about what he's dealing with before identifying the creature and preparing to lay the smackdown on the beast, which can range from thrillingly difficult to laughably easy depending on if you have whirl or not. And once finished, he decapitates their carcass, forcing Roach to carry this rancid slab of meat until the end of time before returning to the local mob for a modest 300 crowns. But this is only one type of side quest you'll find in The Witcher. There are many, many more quests you can occupy your time with. Remember how I said we'd get back to the part where you felt confused and overwhelmed? Well, here we go. The thing about Witcher 3 is it'll try and make you feel like you're running out of time to save Ciri while simultaneously dumping a bunch of side quests and stories of varying degrees of quality in your lap. Given the urgency of Geralt's task, it can be tempting to ignore these, but doing so will cause you to miss out on a lot of fun content and sometimes decisions that will change the fate of some of Geralt's closest friends. In most RPGs, you will need to complete side quests to level up for the main story. In The Witcher, you level up in the main story to unlock more side quests. The point being, take your time. Do as much content as you wish. Now, one other thing I'd recommend is installing the Friendly HUD mod, because look at Novigrad. See how beautiful it is? How about Skellige? If at this point you're wondering why you can't see it, that's because you're too busy focusing on the minimap. So do yourself a favor and get a mod to alleviate this poor game design. Or just turn off the HUD entirely if you feel like getting lost without a sense of direction is immersive. With this knowledge at your behest, I encourage you to venture forth and play Geralt as the game intends you to. Genocide every last bandit, drowner, or contract beast to become an unstoppable whirling god, only to do it all over again on New Game Plus. You could make different story decisions, but if you know which ones you like the most, why the fuck would you do that? If you're ever short on coins, bet your life savings in a fistfight and parry to win, or use Roach's dump truck of an ass to cheese your way through horse races. I have faith in you. All in all, The Witcher 3 is a fantastic game. It certainly doesn't have the best combat system I've encountered. Not all of the meaningless padding in its open world is something I'd call fun. Some of the textures really haven't aged all that well, and at times it can be really fucking janky. But as an open world RPG experience, it is stellar. Even after all these years, I don't think many games that try to go down the open world RPG route come close to the amount of passion, attention to detail, and sheer joy that The Witcher 3 gives me. Like Geralt's combat capabilities, The Witcher 3's whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And everything I've spoken about in this video is the base game. If you've finished it and want more, get the expansion pass. I'm serious, it's nothing short of perfection. The icing on the delicious cake that is The Witcher 3. Hearts of Stone is smaller, but contains the game's greatest story. Blood and Wine, meanwhile, contains a fantastic story and an entire new zone to waste your time in. They, in all honesty, deserve their own video if I were to talk about them in detail. But for now, I need to go outside. I give The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt 3 Blue Stripes Commandos out of 3. I'll see you next time. Hello there, my friend. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing to help the channel grow. It'd mean a lot to me. Thank you.